Now today is here, the idea that you're just getting on a bus for a couple hours rather than getting on a plane. I mean, how nice is that? Now it's kind of the reality.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about, seeing social media of a lot of other teams, the Oregon State flying 5 hours, talking to some of their players that I'm friends with, just talking about their trip. It's crazy that we're literally going right down the road. I think we earned it, and I hopefully have a good turnout, and a lot of people can come down and make that trip because, I'm hoping that we can get a good fan support.
Is it kind of unique in just how much familiarity there is? I mean, not just in Moda, but also with the team you guys have seen once before. It all just seems like it's not out of the realm of what you guys have experienced.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy that we've played against all these teams that are in our region already. But I definitely think that it helps that we've played this team and we kind of know their personnel a little bit more and know exactly what they like to do, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and we're not really going to get caught by surprise. We know they can shoot the ball really well. We know they're really well coached and they play really hard, so we're going to have to come back and do that same thing.
When you're watching a game like that, a South Dakota Syracuse, and you know that regardless of result, it's going to be a team that you played at some point this season, does that kind of change how you're watching that game or how you might be scouting that game as it goes?
Not really. I mean, personnel-wise, every time you see, South Dakota player shooter, you know they're going to shoot it. Just because we were in that position and they were, making shots on us. And so it's just, familiarity-wise, it's kind of cool to see two teams play against each other that you've already played against. But in reality, it doesn't really matter.
It was long enough ago. Are they much different? Are you guys much different than you were that first time around?
Us, for sure. I think we've grown drastically just in our defense and our offensive execution. That road trip wasn't really great to us. We lost against Michigan State that time before and ended up battling at their place in South Dakota, which now we know is a Sweet 16 team. And so, we didn't know that then, but they've won 18 in a row, and, they're coming to do what they didn't do very well in that first game and do that better. And so we're going to have to amp that up as well on our side.
I know Coach's big thing was about getting that mojo back after that Pac-12 final and then in these first two rounds. The way you guys kind of rolled in those first two games, in practice, does it feel like there's a little bit more energy, a little bit more mojo, if you will?
I mean, it's always hard a little bit in practice just because we have, Mark and grown men to go against. And so I feel like they kind of beat up on us a little bit. And then when you get into the game, it kind of slows down a little bit because you start playing against, girls that are your size and girls that are slower than Mark is. But he only helps us just being able to go out and play against him. But I definitely think we got our mojo back, especially having 2 home games, shooting on our home court, and now just going down the street to Portland. I think we're right where we want to be.
You said a year ago you're going to be hunting the Final Four, which means getting through this weekend is kind of to get there. Did you put pressure on yourself in that regard? Do you feel like, how much pressure's on you guys this weekend to follow through on that?
Yeah, I think that's in the back of our minds, and just knowing that we're knocking on the door right there. Everything's how we wanted it to play out. I mean, we're playing down the street, playing against teams that we've beat both of these teams already, and so we have to take care of the first one and then learn from whoever we end up playing in that second game. But I think we're right where we want to be, and I think it's going to be a great weekend for us.
Kelly was saying the other night that you guys are a different team when Satu plays the way she's played in this tournament. What have you seen from her lately that makes you think she can sustain that throughout this round?
I think just when you get a sneak peek of that, it's easy to talk to her and tell her that you see her potential, but then when she sees it for herself, that's a completely different story. And I think just her ability to, she didn't have a great first quarter against Indiana, and then she came back and just killed it. And so I think just her being able to see her potential for herself instead of having people tell her what they see in her is something that's just going to keep helping her grow. And if she plays like that, I think we're unstoppable.
You guys have been pretty comfortable going 6 deep for most of the year, but Adi and Lydia have really stepped up in the last couple games here in Oregon as well. How nice is it at this juncture of the season to be able to feel confident in going 8 deep?
Yeah, that's what they've been preparing for. You have to be ready when your number's called, and I think with such small numbers this year, they've been ready the whole year. They haven't been caught by surprise when they're going in, either earlier on the season or even now in the season, because they're ready and they've been playing in big games, and so I think that only helps us because it's definitely hard when your number's called and you haven't played in a big game. And so I think just their ability to do that has definitely helped us down the stretch and will continue to help us as we move forward.